6.1 Notational Analysis. Biomechanics. Studying biomechanics allows us to develop a greater understanding of the capabilities the body has. This allows us to improve the techniques and skills of the performer to help them to perform to their best abilities. This can also help us to prevent injury when teaching a new technique or even correcting an old technique. This also helps us to establish specialist equipment. For example, you are able to design and improve specialist equipment such as treadmills or skill mills and make sure they are suitable for use. You can also use it to develop materials such as new trainers or the latest sweat wicking material. And finally, it can be used to explore a muscular range and flexibility, for example, seeing the different angles made at certain joints. And this will mean you are able to analyze correct technique and range of mobility. Notational analysis is the study in which movement patterns, strategies and tactics are assessed and analysed. It does this through watching live or videos of performances and using a range of different types of analysis. This is used in many sports, usually by professional athletes or athletes playing at a high level. There are many advantages to notational analysis, such as it allows coaches and performers to find areas to improve on, strengths of teams or individual athletes. It also allows credit to be given to those that don't necessarily show up on the statistics board. For example, a prop may enter every ruck and maul winning the ball or maintaining the ball, but the statistics shows it was the scrum half that assisted the flanker to score the try. My final example is that you can use it to show the performer how they performed. Disadvantages of this system are that it's hard to keep track when doing this process live. It's easy to become distracted and miss things. Depending on the ratio of performers to analysts, it can be very time consuming, and it also does not give any background information on the teams, injuries, climate and so on. Notational analysis can be used for both team or individual analysis. It also helps to prevent injuries by assessing different planes of movement and different ranges of motion. The evolution of notational analysis. In 1987, Hughes Computer Analysis used computer software to know and analyze performances, to see successful and unsuccessful performances. He then used this form to analyze alongside tennis, to review different shot choices, different shots and also success rates. Whereas before this, a man called Sanderson developed something called Sanderson's squash analysis in 1977. Sanderson developed different symbols for a list of different strokes in squash. He then watched around 6 hours of squash to find out there is an average of 1,000 shots, and these were all listed in a booklet he had. In this booklet he also created a report where he worked out from the matches he had seen which shots were more successful and also what different range of shots resulted in for the performer. Performance indicators help to provide a range of objective evidence which will help you get to a specific end result. For example, if a coach or analyst wanted to assess who the highest point scorer was in a basketball team, then they could have a section on points scored for each performer and mark down every point in a tally form, then add the individual results up at the end to get a specific result. This will then show you who the highest and lowest point scorers are. Some sports may use a lot less performance indicators than others. For example, a sport such as snooker may only have 3 performance indicators, whereas a sport that's considered more technical, such as basketball, may have nearer 20 performance indicators. These are usually categories made to show areas of improvement to help the performers perform to the best of their abilities. Here we have 6 different categories that are all examples from my data collection sheet. All of these examples would have a successful section and an unsuccessful section. This is to analyse the success rate of the performer.
Different sports allow different indicators. In basketball, the three main factors we look at are movement, technical, and tactical. Movement. In 1976, two men called Riley and Thomas analysed different movements from football players performing in the First Division. When doing this, they focused mainly on how different positions naturally pick up different roles. They also investigated whether different positions required different work rates. Once this data had been collected, it was generally referred to by most of the performance analyst roles, which then made a large amount of collective data. This process was very time-consuming, but with the methods ever improving, we now have software and computerized technology to simplify and make these methods much more effective. With the advanced technology we have today, we are able to create specific training programs for specific goals or positions based on models that have been previously created, which will save a lot of time. Tactical. This is when playing patterns and set pieces are recognised during the sport, but can have a differing level of performance. For example, a professional's level of ability versus an amateur's means different playing patterns will be seen. This then leads on to varying coaching needs, as different players will have differing levels of ability, and coaches need to be able to recognise and facilitate that. You will also put yourself at an advantage if you have good knowledge of the opposition, as you will know their strengths and weaknesses, and the areas to exploit to gain an upper hand. Technical. This is typically used to show quantitatively where a skill has failed or succeeded. This will usually be done using numerical data such as percentages and statistics. How effective is notational analysis? When notational analysis is used correctly, it can be a massive advantage over a performer that does not use it. For example, if a basketball team organise an analyst to record and analyse each game to help reflect on good and bad points, they will have the upper hand on a team that is unable to reflect as thoroughly, due to the fact they are able to see clear patterns and roles that need adjusting. Notational analysis can be both time and money consuming, so if you are using up lots of time and money but not using notational analysis to its full potential, then you run the high risk of wasting valuable time, money and resources. The efficiency of notational analysis relies upon many factors: the performers, the recorders or observers, the analysts, and also the technology used. These all play key roles. If the technology such as a camera is faulty or not set up correctly, then this could jeopardize the analysis completely. To perform this method, you will need a small list of equipment: camera, data collection sheet, clipboard, pen, basketball, and a basketball court. One method of notational analysis is to have a game being performed in front of analysts. For the use of this presentation, I will use basketball as an example. So, to follow this method, you need a basketball game to be performed in front of either a group of analysts or a camera. If your chosen method uses a camera, then you must film the game, but make sure you can clearly see the entire court as well as all the players. Once recorded, you need to watch the footage back and analyse the footage using a tally style system and a data collection sheet, so that it is clear to take the data and compare to other results to gain a fair conclusion. If you are not using a camera, then you need to make sure that the players you are trying to evaluate are assigned to an analyst, and they must then use the tally style analysis and data collection sheet. When doing a team sport such as basketball, it would be very beneficial to both the analysts and the performers if they record it first. This allows them to analyse it thoroughly, as it is a very fast sport, which means pausing it occasionally will benefit the quality of the analysis. Whereas a slower sport such as darts may allow you to analyse the performance live a lot easier. Here is also a copy of my data collection sheet showing the performance indicators that I used. Evaluation. Notational analysis has many advantages, such as it allows coaches to feedback to performers, it can create an objective or target area to improve on or even exploit, it can give useful statistics and data, can also help recognise different criteria that may have slipped under the radar, and help to create tactical plays. It can also aid coaches' planning. But, on the other hand, there are also many disadvantages, such as it takes time to do, you need skilled observers or analysts, and you may not always be reliable. Some may change play due to the fact they are being analysed. Better if you don't use the data alone, so you need to back up all the data. The first picture on this slide is of me analysing my live performance. The second picture is of me analysing my performer from the videos that were taken. We applied the methods previously discussed to basketball. To do this, we had 4 teams and each team played at least 2 matches each. We also had a cameraman and 2 data collection sheets each. We then decided who we were going to be analysing. Once this was decided, the teams were able to begin their matches. When the performer was playing in the first game, we acted as researchers and analysed our chosen person's performance live. This was using our already made data collection sheets. We used these by marking down a tally each time one of the PIs needed noting. For example, when my performer missed a layup, I would put a tally on the missed layup section. When the game was over, the performers then got ready for another game, which was filmed. This then allowed us to watch back the footage and analyse it thoroughly, being able to control the speed of the footage and even pausing the footage, making sure that we don't miss any details. Two-point shot, layup shot, free throw shot, three-point shot, steals, turnovers, defensive rebounds and offensive rebounds are all 8 different categories, and these are all examples from my data collection sheet. All of these examples would have a successful section and an unsuccessful section, which is to be analysed for the success rate of a performer. I will be breaking down 5 of these. Two-point shot. This shot choice allows the performer to take a shot from anywhere inside of the 3-point line. This is a curved line found on the floor of the court, and if it goes into the opposition's basket, your team is awarded 2 points. This can be any shot choice from a jump shot to a layup. A layup. This shot is worth 2 points. This is when the player drives the ball into the key, takes 2 steps and lays the ball up into the basket. The ball usually makes contact with the backboard in this shot choice. Free throws. These are usually awarded when a performer is fouled, whilst attempting a shot or even when scoring. They are only awarded in restricted areas on the court. Each successful free throw will award 1 point to the scorer's team. They get 2 chances per foul. A defensive rebound is when the defense takes possession of the ball after the attacking side misses a shot. Offensive rebounds are a rebound received by an offensive player after someone from their team misses a shot. When this happens, the attacking team is given another opportunity to score as they have been given possession. The 2-point shot, as titled Figure 1, we can see here that George scored more 2-pointers than Jess did, as the percentage is a lot higher and Jess has scored none. When you look at the means of the 2-pointers for the group as a whole, you will see a mean of 48.4. Free throws. As seen in Figure 2, a high percentage of George's free throw shots were scored, whereas Jess did not score. When you look at the means of the free throws, there was an average of 7.7. Layup shots, titled Figure 3. In this picture you can see that Jess scored just under half as many layup shots as George. As a group as a whole, there is an average of 36.5%. Defensive rebounds. Figure 4 shows that Jess had no successful defensive rebounds, whereas George was successful with 100% of his defensive rebounds. The group as a whole had a mean of 0.9%. Offensive rebounds. Again, as seen in Figure 5, Jess had no successful offensive rebounds, whereas George had a 100% success rate with a mean of 0.8.